Hello, this is going to be an intro tutorial, I guess, to Flash for anyone who is missing the first day. Now this definitely won't be as good as if you were learning it in class, and it will be slightly shorter, but I'll tell you the basics so you won't have to use too much time in class when we're actually learning. So let's get started. This should be what you'll see at the school computers. I may have a newer version because there are multiple. Generally, to start off, you'd go to ActionScript 3. Some people would have ActionScript 2, but 3 is one of the latest. HTML5 Canvas, it doesn't have as much functionality, so for simplicity's sake, we should just pick this one. So when you start, you will see a timeline on the bottom of your screen. So that's probably the most important part about the animation. So basically, how Flash works is that it sees one thing, and then on the next frame, you draw another one to give the illusion of movement. So basically, by playing it fast enough, it makes you feel like it's moved from one location to the other. So to make this a lot easier for yourself if you're planning to draw it, you'd click the button down here, which is the onion skin, which allows you to see previous frames. So I'll be able to know exactly where the next frame should go. So the three main keys you need to know for the animation is F5, F6, and F7. On the Macs, some of them may not work because they have another function. For example, my F5 happens to work to increase or lower keyboard lighting. So you have to hold Fn before you click it. So basically F7 is probably the one you'll be using the most. How it works is it creates an empty frame free for you to draw something in it. So like if you're doing an animation, you would use F7 to draw a new frame, another one, and you would do another, and you would make another frame. F6 basically copies that frame so you can see it twice and still be able to edit. It's just like a copy and paste. So basically, I would use it if I already have an image, okay? If I already have an image and I want it to stay the same. So I'll press F6, I'll move it however I want to do, F6 again, move it again. So it stays the same, I don't have to redraw every single time. And finally F5. So down here you can see an example of what F5 would do. So basically, it just makes a frame last longer. So everything in it is the exact same. So why would you use it? Why not use F6 a bunch of times? Because if I had a background, and I want to change a little bit, maybe I want to add a flower to it, I wouldn't have to change every single frame for it to work. Only this one, because this frame corresponds to every single other one. Alright, so you may be wondering how I use this brush tool that I'm doing right now. So you would look here for much of the tools you'll need. Generally, the brush tool will be the one you'll be using the most, at least for the many of the drawings, or you'll be importing PNGs from the library. So you just drag it in and you start to be able to use it. By pressing Q, you'll be able to move around some of the things you've created. So you can select it and then start moving it around to change the size, things like that. So just press Q, and then you'll be able to select it and start moving it around, and things like that. So once you do more lessons, you'll start to notice the significance of this. Brush tool, you can change the stroke over here, the size on how large it wants to be for whatever reason, and the smoothing. So something about smoothing, it starts off at 50. So basically, if I tried to draw a circle with 50, you can see it changes a little bit. It always fixes up. If I do F0, very low change. So just to show you an extreme, if I do 100, it changes a lot. So I generally keep it at around 20, and sometimes 0, depending on what I'm making. The eraser tool can erase the things you created. So, notice I'm trying to erase this flower, but oops, I also erased the background. So I would lock it so I wouldn't accidentally change it. I actually made a little bit of a mistake here because the flower was actually part of the background, but just for example's sake. So you could be able to change the color over here in the fill. So you can create new layers by right-clicking here, and you can click Insert Layers, Delete Layers, you can copy layers for whatever reason, things like that. You can delete frames also by clicking right-click, so this is more like a larger form. It's a lot faster if you use F7, F6, and F5. That's what I usually use. Now, if you wanted to animate an image. So you want to stay the same every time. So if I drew a box like this, and I want to stay the same, so alright, let's delete everything we have. If I want this to stay the same, okay, so I press F6, so it creates the same, and I want to move it. I move it, it only does one unless I select it all. So how do I make it work like an image? I click it and press F8. Don't forget to use FN. You would save it as a movie clip. Graphics and buttons you'll learn about later. Probably not buttons, just because the usage isn't as widely done. So you click movie clip and it changes it to an image. You can't select individual parts, you can't erase it because it works like an image. This helps a lot. And for stickman animations, I guess, the head is generally an image because you don't want it to change too much. However, this isn't always the case. So that should be around all the things you'll need to know to take the classes. Thanks for watching, and bye, I guess.